Hey, welcome everybody. I am Graham.
And I'm Jake.
And Ashkahn is working on some of the conference logistics, so he won't be joining us today. And instead, we'll be rocking out construction questions with Jake here. So today's question is kind of half of a statement and then a question at the end. It's expanding from 1 to 3 tanks, going to a new space. Any suggestions? Question mark.
It's a pretty broad question, I guess. You could start there.
Yeah, well, get ready for insanity. I mean, it's a big step from 1 to 3 tanks. So
Your game is definitely going to change. Obviously, 3 tanks is going to be much harder on the space than the 1 tank you had before.
So especially if, oftentimes with 1 tank, it's in a house or
Right.
maybe attached to a spa as kind of, an afterthought or off. Yeah, it's not, you don't do as much planning around it. And because it's only 1 unit, you kind of don't have to do as much planning around it.
Yeah, your materials, your build-out materials can be a little less robust if you only have 1 tank generating humidity, 1 tank drawing power, 1 person showering, where if all of a sudden you triple that load, you're using that much more water, so, appropriately sized supply lines. The drainage that comes from all that, you might have been able to get by with 1 tank in your garage at home and just cleaned up all that salt. Well, you're not going to want to do that if you're turning over 3 tanks and trying to keep good customer service with your clients. Like, you want drains so you can push all that salt water away. The waterproofing, that goes to the roof as well. Like, you're no longer just throwing up, like some pond guard rubber or something like that, and it did well in your home. All of a sudden now you're using waterproof panels or you're using porcelain tile or something like that.
Yeah, again, it's kind of the short answer is you just have to start worrying about things a little bit more. The kind of low demand that's put as a result of a single tank onto a building, and the fact that you can pay attention to everything that's going through that room. Like, you individually get to talk to every customer. You personally get to go in after every customer and make sure that the room is looking nice and everything's good.
And the tank's in good repair.
And now if you triple the load, it's just there's so much more to pay attention to, Like, you need seating for everyone. Yeah, you need to make sure your water supply lines are the right size. You need to worry if the electrical is going to get out of hand, if all of these different things kind of kick in. Then you're not even, when you're doing the transitions, it's hard to pay attention to every single room and really make sure that salt water isn't going everywhere. And I would also say if you were in a house beforehand, people just tend to treat those a little more respectfully.
Absolutely.
Like they recognize they're in someone's home, and as soon as you move to a bigger commercial space, it's almost like some people really want to get their dollar's worth. They're just like, I paid $70-some for this, and I'm going to make as much mess as I can.
I'm going to swing my hair all over the room.
Yeah.
It's on the ceiling.
Right? It's kind of cool, but it totally happens.
It's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, so just get prepared for really actually being concerned about all of these individual variables that you might have just kind of skated on by before.
And of course, like a real basic one, anything that failed at your first center, try to do better at your next center, right?
Learn from the past.
Yeah,
Always
try to at least learn that. If your floor drains failed, maybe spend a little extra money, get nicer floor drains or something like that. So.
What else in general? I mean, there's so much stuff. We could just go into all of the details of construction that you need when you're building out a serious float tank center, but I was trying to think of the main differences.
Yeah, I was thinking of just some quick bullet points.
Yeah.
Your waterproofing, you're going to need more of that. It's going to need to be more robust. Your HVAC, how are you going to handle all that extra humidity? Like you said, the load calculation of electrical. How much power are you going to be drawing? Like a commercial space, you need more power if you're running 3 tanks, depending on what type of tanks you get, right, and how much they're drawing. Parking, I guess.
Yeah, parking and seating.
Yeah, parking and seating.
Restrooms.
Restrooms. That could up that game too.
You're going to have multiple people, which means perhaps
you
getting
could
a second restroom.
have 6 people
nice.
at one time, right? 3 people leaving, 3 people coming. So.
Scheduling maintenance, when you only have 1 tank, it's really easy to schedule someone in or know when it's going to be busy. And now when you have 3 tanks, it's a lot more to keep track of. We, of course, recommend using the helm.
We track
which
all
also,
of our metrics through there, yeah.
Yeah, also doubles as tank chemistry, which, again, when you have 1 tank, you can keep track of what's going on in there and the water a lot easier than when you have 3 tanks. Now you really, the importance of keeping logs is so much greater when you have that many tanks that you can lose track of. So, really rigorous chemical logging is important too.
Having extra chemicals on hand, having more storage. You're going to have more salt on hand because you're turning over 3 tanks.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, if for some reason you need to change out 2 tanks, that means you just need to have twice as much salt in backup nature. Yeah.
Are you doing laundry in house? What might have been fine with your residential unit with one tank, now all of a sudden you're running 3 towels and 3 robes every transition or something.
Oh, laundry's a good one.
Yeah, laundry's a good one.
I hadn't even thought of that one.
Yeah, no, it just popped in my head right now. Just sitting here.
Man. Which I'm shocked at because we've had to deal with laundry on
all
so
the time,
many occasions. How is that not just burnt into my brain?
I think the most important thing to take away from this is go for it. Definitely expand to 3 tanks. I think that's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah, I guess so. We were talking about the things to be careful of, but the things you have to look forward to. People love coming in with someone else to float with, and not everyone wants to wait around for their friend to get out and then they go in, kind of the one at a time thing. Even just going from 1 to 2 tanks. You'll see just a natural uptick in clientele because there are some people who don't want to go in and do this weird thing without a friend also doing it at the same time. Yeah. So multiple tanks is going to be awesome for that size of business. And of course, you just get economies of scale.
Yeah, revenue, yes, absolutely.
Yep. You can have one person taking care of 1 tank, or you can have one person taking care of 3 tanks. And now all of a sudden, you're getting way more out of each session that you have coming through there because you're not tripling your payroll with the tripling of the number of float tanks you have. So yeah, there are some things that'll be harder, but there are also some real serious upsides that come along with expanding, which again, I'm sure is why you're why you're doing it. Yeah, you're nodding at me like you want me to close out the episode.
Yeah,
You want to try it? You want to try the little closeout this time?
All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening. Really, really appreciate you spending your time with us here today. Yeah, you can go to floattanksolutions.com/podcast.
Nailed it. Good.
If you want to ask any more questions. We look forward to lovingly reading all of your submissions.
My only critique was that it was too good, and now I'm going to feel bad when in the future I close that episode.
All right, here's the nod one more time.
All right, we'll talk to you all tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much.